Hello and welcome to Simon's Trading Channel. Happy Monday to you. Hope you've had a great weekend and your Monday has been a little bit better than Bitcoin so far. Anyway, let's get straight on with the price action analysis. So, as you can see, I've got the weekly time frame, and yet as of midnight yesterday, when I'm on Bitstamp here, closed its weekly candle as a fairly bearish looking candle. It didn't really do too much on the higher timeframes, but I do wonder if there's going to be a bit more downside fallout as a result of that closure. Um, and I'll come on to putting some more flesh on that statement on the lower timeframes. With regards to the trend and momentum for this weekly time frame, you can see that certainly the trend is still to the upside, and indeed so is the momentum. It is cooling off though, and even though this was a bearish weekly closure on the price action, the MACD, which I'm using as a momentum indicator here, needs to close this week below 96, call it 96 and a half, to shift or to have momentum cooling off rather than continuing to the upside. So see what happens at the end of this week, but that's a key area for a weekly closure, 96.5, call it. From the point of view of the Bollinger Bands and volatility, there's a big area which is basically, it's a support resistance level as well, coming in at 75. In theory, you could have a pullback this week down to there, and that would not change the momentum and the trend on the weekly time frame. However, it would be a significant pullback in percentage terms and probably a larger one than is expected. I don't think a pullback towards 75 is very likely, and I'll explain that on the lower timeframes. But you can see the volatility on the weekly, as of last week, started to cool off, and as long as Bitcoin remains above the midpoint of the Bollinger Band over the next few weeks, it still means that when volatility expands again on the weekly, then that move will likely to be to the upside. Are we staring down the barrel, though, of a sideways consolidation along the lines of December last year? So if you look at this, 4th of December, once the range had kind of been set in, it was a range for 8 bars, so 2 months. So if I would be so bold as to suggest that this range has probably been set in as of last week or maybe the week before, 8 weeks of consolidation would take Bitcoin towards February, without hopefully breaking down, and maybe a consolidation slightly sideways and down from here, or just sideways prior to then another move to the upside. So we'll see. I just wonder if last move basically leading up to March high, so that was basically 2023, and then prior to the summer lull of this year, I do wonder if something similar is going to happen. The reason I say that is that the consolidation period from 2023 was pretty much exactly the same as the consolidation period of 2024. And what happened after the consolidation period of 2023, there was a move up, which totaled 120%, and halfway through, there was a 8-week consolidation. So if that happens to be, for some reason, I don't know why, repeated again, then you can see that we've already done, or Bitcoin's already done a 50, try again, already done 40% move, and now it's consolidating. So to take it up to about 120%, say roughly, by like round numbers. So if Bitcoin did hit 150K in this bull run, while that fits in with what I'm suggesting, maybe a repetition of basically the bull run in 2023. So will Bitcoin on this weekly time frame go sideways from where it is now for about another say 6 to 8 weeks, and then have another 50% move to the upside? I don't know, but that's what I'm suggesting could be the case. That's not financial advice. It's just me looking at patterns in the price action. Okay, that'll do for the weekly time frame. Jump down to the daily and reset the scale because it's all gone a bit wrong with me messing around with it. No, this one. So as you can see, a fairly big rejection over the last 4 days leading into Christmas. That's nice. And Bitcoin, even though it was rejected from the current all-time high around 105 on this daily time frame, there hasn't been volatility expansion to the downside. What there's been is consolidation, but Bitcoin for this on the daily time frame to just be consolidation, Bitcoin needs to get back above the Bollinger Band midpoint, which is at 100,000. So if Bitcoin is going to avoid this sort of move, and I would suggest it could move down to 85,000 if volatility picks up on a daily time frame. If it's to avoid that, it needs to get back above 100K and maybe do this sort of thing. Whether or not that goes into February, as I've suggested on the weekly time frame, I don't know. But there could be a mighty range somewhere between 90-ish K and 105K on the daily time frame that would constitute a $50,000 range. Will that be the case for the next, say, 6 weeks? Maybe. But for that to be the case, Bitcoin needs to defend its current position and this wick low at 92.5 and probably get back above 100,000. That's on a daily time frame. Coming down to the 4-hour, you could also see on the momentum point of view, the daily MACD is getting quite close to the zero line. And it will continue falling, funnily enough, as long as Bitcoin's closing daily timeframes below 100,000, which is the same as the midpoint of Bollinger Band, more or less. So interesting. The 4-hour, yeah, and volatility expansion to the downside, as you can see from this point here, which was Wednesday of last week. That volatility indeed brought Bitcoin back down to the current low, if you like. I mean, it's not the overall low on the higher time frames, but certainly is on this 4-hour, the local low. Is it going to put in a double bottom and then go for a bounce? Don't know. Maybe. There certainly is some volatility, not volatility, some momentum shifts to the upside. You can see that. Oh, where's the RSI gone? Where has the RSI gone? Seems to have disappeared. Give me back the RSI. Wow, yeah. So you can see here the RSI. I wanted to have it. It's been a bit tricky, the RSI. Restore. Here we go. So you can see this low on the 4 hour compared to where price action is at the moment. If indeed this becomes a low, you can see there is a little bit of building of momentum to the upside. The same applies to the MACD, although it's not huge. You can see that the MACD is definitely momentum to the downside and will continue unless Bitcoin closes back above 94,250, call it, which coincides with the midpoint of the Bollinger Band. That is the least that, oh no, the midpoint of the Bollinger Band, I take that back, is about 96 and a half. So Bitcoin really needs to achieve a 4 hour closure back above 96 and change, just for consolidation, and then for volatility on the 4 hour to expand to the upside needs to get back above 100K. So 100K is a significant area at the moment for Bitcoin. And if this week is going to prove to be anything other than sideways, pretty much in a range somewhere between 92 and a half and 100, fairly big, um, a fairly big range. That's on the 4 hour and the daily. Um, if Bitcoin's going to do anything other than range between those two areas, it really needs to get at least 4 hour closures and probably dailies back above 100K. Otherwise, more downside. If there is more downside, well, the obvious target is 85K. And should Bitcoin start to get closures below there, well, then that's when the range, the range of doom high would kick in, and that's at sort of 75-ish. So we'll see what happens throughout the week. At the moment, can't really be looking for any upside while Bitcoin is below $100,000. There we are. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.